Everyone has a different perspective of what a story needs to have to be a great story. There are certain types of stories that are pretty good but are diluted by the noise around it. This noise can be the environment where the characters are put in, the situation in which they are involved in, or the problems that these characters encounter over time, and the reaction of these same characters towards it. The setting of the story is very important for the development. That is key on good storytelling, unless the author is appealing to a specific niche. Not too long ago, I decided to experience one of those stories that I am not very fond of, and that is an ecchi anime adaptation. But the popularity of this anime made me curious, and oh boy, I am glad that I watched it. This is not a review on High School DXD, but rather a short essay on why this particular ecchi harem story actually works as a serious anime adaptation. We can start asking to ourselves, what is an ecchi? Well, in its most basic form, it's a very adult story, full of lashable situations that appeals to the most basic primal needs of the audience, without getting too graphic, avoiding thus X-rated content. It has a big market and is very popular among otakus, but usually they are simple stories. I want to make emphasis on usually because there are some stories that, although being considered ecchis, they are very green and very deep. But this particular one finds the perfect balance between fan service, good setting, and great character development. And you guys know how I do like a very well-polished character arc. The story itself is very interesting. We are in a world where angels, devils, and fallen angels try to live in harmony after a gruesome war for a human world. If that is not good enough of a story setting to convince you that there is some potential here, how about we add mad exorcists and dragons? Yes, it sounds a bit over the top, especially for a romantic comedy with adult features and a lot of fan service. But somehow the story works perfectly, and this is due to their strong character arcs. That is the key for High School DXD. That is why this anime adaptation is so good. And although its fan service can be distracting at the beginning of Season 1, especially if you are not used to this kind of content, somehow eventually blends in and becomes living part of the story itself. This story deals with some delicate subjects related to religion, especially regarding to the Roman Catholic Church, which is depicted as a faction that itself has two internal factions, the good and the evil. Most of the good part comes from the angels themselves, that are portrayed as pure and perfect beings. Only by watching Archangel Saint Michael, or Michael, with golden feather wings you will understand that. On the other side, you have priests that has become corrupted and are driven by their obsession to hunt down demons. The story portrays devils as the good guys, at least on the beginning, as they do have their own internal struggles as the plot advances. The whole reasoning behind it is because our main characters are devils themselves, that live in the human world and attend to a human school, hiding their nature, so it has to be appealing to the audience. The story has a very light tone, which serves as a relief for many complex situations. That is where the fan service part plays a key role, as many of its recurrent jokes come back to the same basic structure. The male hero gets into an unexpected situation. One female character makes a strong advancement on the hero. The female hero gets jealous, and instead of living in disgust, the female hero joins the battle for our hero's attention. That's the absurdity that makes the joke work. This same simple structure is used once and again with different backgrounds. The audience eventually figures out what is happening, expect the delivery of the joke, and when it gets executed, the joke plays out as intended, and it's funny. But how this very simple structure works so well? The reason is the character's personality. The author of the story first introduces the hero, who is Issei. It gives a background to him. He is a naive schoolboy that only thinks on one thing, girls. He is a naughty boy who does naughty boys things. And eventually he finds a girl that covers all of his superficial standards. It turns out that this girl is a fallen angel and kills him cold-blooded. Then our other hero, Rias, saves him and brings him back as a devil, but now he has to learn and adapt to his new life, where he fails miserably and embarks on a journey for self-improvement. Issei's development is very simple. He fails, improves. He fails, he improves. He fails again, and improves again. That recipe always works for the audience, as it can be very relatable. However, it gets repetitive. So, how the author keeps the story fresh with this simple structure for 50 episodes? Well, the devil is on the details. In the secondary characters, who are the ones that keep the story fresh, and Issei an interesting character. Our secondary characters have very different personalities. However, all of them share something, and that is a tragic background. Asha was a nun with healing abilities that helps people and gets murdered. Yuto was part of a group of kids that were subject to experiment conducted by rogue priests from the church. Akeno is a hybrid between a human and a fallen angel, and hates herself and her father for that. She's a misfit. And Koneko is separated from her sister very young. All of these characters' backgrounds are developed in an orderly fashion. They are given space and time to breathe and to become appealing to the audience. Rias, our other main character, has a strong personality and very basic needs. Yes, she has some situations that she has to face and resolve, but her simplicity around very complicated characters is what makes her unique to the story. She's not only the leader of the group, but also the heart and soul, as she has saved them all, loves them all, and protects them all. She's very sweet but determined, and that is always appealing to the audience. She herself has a violent theme score, as you add, that fits her personality perfectly, and it takes life by its own. This is unique to this character. Would this anime could work if it wasn't an ecchi? Well, yes, I think it could have worked, because it has many strengths, but somehow it needs to be one to shine at its full potential as a romantic comedy. Currently, this anime adaptation has 4 seasons, and it has been reported that a 5th is on the works. And frankly, I can't wait to see where this story goes next. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I wish you all a wonderful day.